I know this theme is interesting for a lot of people, and tonight I'll be looking at the whole notion of how to get clear for the astral experience. So it really is a thing of clearing the field. So look, I'll let people pop on. These things are pretty casual, but you can watch the whole thing back. So I'll get fairly swift into it. So really, hence the background there, because this notion of being up high. One of the meditations I do with my astral workshops. I had one just the other day, a Zoom workshop, and it was good fun. I didn't get around to doing this particular one I want to do, but one of the exercises I do is using the mind, so meditating and a guided meditation to a place that is very similar in the background there, and the whole experience or meditation that I take people through is to meet their guides up very high. So what I found is often in the astral, it is kind of the realms of archetypes. So you often do find yourself flying to very high places, and in terms of clarity, it makes sense. You think right now, if we were in this scene on a mountain peak, automatically, you're above the collective consciousness, and that makes a big difference for getting astral. So what I found is your imagination is so much more powerful than you think. I know that sounds a little bit glib, but in the astral, if you think something, it happens. Like if you imagine something, it happens. A scene, you go there. It's pretty remarkable. It's different to a lucid dream too, because you're moving to a state of hyper real state. So a lot of getting clear is probably the most important thing for getting astral. Is that you've got to remember all of this kind of energy that we accumulate during the day often inhibits your chances of going astral at night. So, like I've often talked to people, and as I was saying with this workshop on the weekend, it was an online workshop. We were discussing this notion of sleep hygiene, like what's the best way to go to sleep so you can really, yeah. Hi Nitro, how are you? So that you can really optimize your chances of going astral, because as I've said many times, everyone's going astral. It's just a question of remembering it and gaining some kind of semblance of control of the experience. So getting clear, what I call getting clear, is kind of fundamental to the experience. One of my clarity things, and it just happened, and this is an interesting thing. When I started going astral, plus I got into Reiki as well, all of a sudden I couldn't tolerate coffee. I couldn't tolerate caffeine. So as soon as I drink a sip of coffee, I'd feel my brain start to swell in my head, and it didn't feel that good. And I have a real high for about a half an hour, but like real high, like very, very happy. And then I'd absolutely crash, and I get very hungry, and I get the jitters. So you've all felt these things with caffeine, but it became like really over the top when I started going astral. So what I realized was it was kind of my own system. And that's not necessarily the case for everybody. It's not a one size fits all. But for me, it was a situation of don't drink caffeine. And I wanted to get clear. And I know a lot of people, like I got a lot of good friends and occasionally I'll have a drink of alcohol. Occasionally I'll have something. Generally, I'll make sure that it doesn't have preservatives because I get a bad reaction. So I think, and when I say that, it's like I know some friends who, because of liver issues, their doctor says don't have alcohol, because they're getting really unwell. And I had one friend who said, "Yeah, I didn't drink for 3 months, and I felt really clear, and I didn't like it." That's what they said. They didn't like the feeling of being clear, so they were happy to go back to not being clear. And what I've seen, I once read this that it's interesting. Caffeine is a great opioid of the masses in that not everybody, but probably the majority of people are kind of getting up and going to work that they don't really want to go to. And what the caffeine does is it makes them feel it's all okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's okay. So what that does is it puts in like this false reassurance. So it clouds already, their minds are already clouded because it makes them feel that what they're doing is fine. And that's fine if it is fine. That's what I'm saying. It's not a one size fits all. If I could still drink coffee, I would because I loved it. And when I stopped drinking coffee, I kind of I felt my life went into black and white for about a month until I kind of got back there. And I think I mentioned this before. It's quite amusing. But now in the afternoon, now I'll have a good matcha, a good quality matcha without any sweetener. So look, this is over a few years. Like even like a few years ago, about 15 years ago, I had these honey dreams. It was really weird. I always loved honey, and I'd have it on toast. Anyway, I had these dreams where I was overdosing on honey. It was really weird, and I came out of these dreams. And the second time I had the dream, in the space of a few weeks, I thought, "Oh, I can't have it." And I just went off sugar for a long time. And it's not a question of being right or wrong. And of course, honey's it's got a lot of good things for you. Occasionally, have a little bit, but it was more my body saying, "Greg, get off it." Um, and I guess that's because I was really invested in the astral experience, and it was like my system. So I really listening to my system saying how to get clear. This is what I'm alluding to. So these are physical things. So what I realize is in the astral, we become very aware that we have the body. So the body has its hard drive. Literally, it has its hard drive. Like, yeah, a few years ago when my mum died, she'd actually died. Like, it was a few minutes after she died, and her jaw was still wanting to eat. Like, was still masticating. The jaw was still chewing food, or making that movement, and she was dead. And I said to the doctor, because I was in the room at the time when she died. That was actually an astral experience that pulled me in. It was like a waking astral experience that she pulled me into the room just as she died. But anyway, the doctor said, "Look, it's the body. The body wants to live at all costs." And I know that when I've done any kind of like juice fasting, even though I've had all the nutrients I need in the really good juices, I'm very aware after a few days. Like I remember the first time I was really disappointed. My body wanted to just chew something, wanted to eat, and then you realize, well, the body has its own thing. It's like the body will live at all costs. So the body has its own programming, and that's what you got to know with the astral experience is that the body retains this programming. What I mean by that is when you do leave the body, your body has a certain amount of energy to maintain, like a pilot light. So that's the sleep paralysis thing. So I used to have sleep paralysis a lot before I went astral consciously, and then ever since I've been out of body consciously, I never get sleep paralysis. So if you're out astral and then all of a sudden you have like some surprise of some kind, or it can often just happen. Generally, that's how it happens. So you're out of body, you have an experience, you haven't downloaded the experience into your physical body, but there's been some kind of shock. So there's a jarring going on. Uh, the astral body, which has the vital energies, that has the chakra system, is in the astral body. Okay, so when you're out of body, your physical body can't talk. You can almost make a sound. You can't move. You can just open your eyes. So there's a certain pilot light that the physical body is on when you're out of body. So sleep paralysis occurs when you haven't quite integrated the astral body or higher body. So the astral is Lucifer, the high bodies with the physical body. So it's a very good sign. If you're getting sleep paralysis, that is a great sign that you're right on the cusp of an astral experience. So the physical, what I'm getting at with this clarity thing is though that the physical body has its own programmings. So does our other body. So if it's responsible for eating food, look at the signs. Like if I really want an astral hit, if I want a full-on astral experience, I will probably have a vegetarian meal that night, and not a big dinner, because the body will be working on digesting. Like if ever I still eat meat, I'll occasionally have not so much red meat. Sometimes I'll know if I need some red meat, but I'll have a bit of fish, a bit of chicken. I generally, well, I'll always have it without chemicals, so I will have organic stuff or wild caught, but not often. I've found you have not always. It doesn't matter really, but you often can be clearer in your whole mind body connection as you fall asleep if you've had just a light meal, vegetarian meal, and if you eat a fair bit, quite a few hours before you go to bed is optimal. It's not absolutely necessary. I've still had out of body experiences while having heavy meals of meat, whatever. But I find there's just less load, and it's not about pointing the finger or blame. There's less load from the viewpoint that your body doesn't have to work on that. And there's also a thing called, like, our body's always taking on karmic charge. So, for instance, if you want to get really clear at night, have a shower at night before you go to bed. Finish with a cold shower is really good for cleansing the aura. And when I say aura, your mind is a part of that aura. So your mind, your body, the whole astral thing is part of that aura. So it's good to have a shower in the morning as well, cold shower in the morning, and then in the evening have a cold shower after your warm shower. I find that's really good for sleep hygiene. That will clear away kind of any. I call it karmic detritus. When I say karmic detritus, I mean, see, during the day. Um, okay, so if you are in the presence of other people on a very kind of low energetic level, these are people who are not, part of your family or partners. Just being in their company, you will take on a certain amount of shared memory, if you like, memory load. That's what karma is. It's like a memory load. So if you're like, for instance, last night it was at this concert, and after it, my wife's a musician, so we met a lot of these musicians, and I find myself, to be honest, reluctantly shaking hands because I knew that if when you shake, see when you're in the astral, when you touch someone, you sense their emotional state entirely. You take on part of their story. So I've learned as a healer to be detached, and you connect, but you find ways of channeling it. It's not being you. So it's really important when you go out in public to put white light around your violet flame, whatever protocols you have to keep you feel clear. Because if you're shaking hands with a lot of people, what happens is there's a certain energetic discharge going on. It's not necessarily negative. It's not conscious. It's not how do I say it? Yeah, it's not a deliberate action from that person to put any energy into. It's just part of being human relationships. What's happened over times in the human realms is this whole karmic memory, this story, if you like, the shared stories that we have, is becoming itself like a vortex, and it's kind of sucking beings and souls back into the same old story. So we're here to eventually have the choice to free ourselves from that, and the astral experience is a very good way to kind of, yeah, you all of a sudden you're outside of that karmic experience, and you feel it, you know it. So as soon as I got home, I do a bit of dry brushing. Like I'll go in Reiki, like, ha ha. It's like Japanese. The intention of moving the energy off your arms that you may have picked up from people. It doesn't mean you won't have authentic relationships with people. It doesn't mean you can't have a great time socially. All it means is you're not picking up on energetic memory or energetic load, karmic memory from those beings. And this goes with everything. So it's your food as well. Like I tried going fully a vegetarian for 6 months, and I just, because I like to surf and I like to exercise, and I'm thin, pretty thin as it is. I just couldn't maintain my weight. Maybe I didn't do it right, and I couldn't maintain my energy. So I just, I remember being at this New Year's Eve function, or friends of mine had us over, and they knew that we were vegetarian, myself and my wife. It was really funny, and she made all this vegetarian sushi, and then she had made these beautiful organic sausage rolls, and I met this woman's partner for the first time, and he said, "Oh, you do astral travel, Reiki, and you're vegetarian." I said, "Yeah, yeah." And then I just started picking up. My body called out for the organic sausage roll, and I just ate it, and it was like, "Oh man, it's good." And I just started going mental. And guys looking at me, going, "Gee, for a vegan slash vegetarian, you certainly eat a lot of meat, you know." And it was just my body just saying, "Look, I need that. I need that." So that's not to, like, what I'm saying is I'm not judging or pointing finger at any of this, as you can tell. My body has its own thing, and it needed that that kind of protein. Um, so for me, in terms of getting clear, there's so many different ways. Okay, there's these physical ways, there's energetic ways, as I said, having a shower at night is really good. And the other thing is like meditation, and do say hi if you're there at the moment. I know Nitro's there, but the other thing is meditation techniques. So I want to touch upon the basic meditation techniques I use to get clear. And not every day is going to work for me. Like not every day am I going out consciously? Absolutely not. You got to know that I would say every day everybody is going out of body. So we all have the opportunity to be conscious. Generally, we go out because we have to get these energies into this energetic body, and then we have to integrate them into the physical. So the astral body is kind of the receptacle or the receptor body for home energy, for ether, for chi, for all of these energies and vital energies that we don't even have a name for. The astral body is that container, is one of the containers, and then it brings it into the physical. Without the astral body, you'd be in a constant state of paralysis. Okay, so our vital energies come from that body. The astral body just happens to be the bridge body, the body that can download the memory of these experiences. So anyway, so in getting clear in terms of meditation, I found the chakra cleanse. I've often talked about chakra cleanses with people, and that's just putting your awareness through your chakra system, just and using the breath. So my meditations are generally pretty active or dynamic. So in a nutshell, I will breathe in my crown. I'm imagining breathing the infinite cosmos in the crown. I'll breathe out each chakra front and back, with the purposes of clearing, cleansing, activating that chakra. Just the intention is enough, and I can feel it buzzing. I'll breathe in each chakra front and back, then down through the base of my spine to clear, cleanse, activate. Breathe the infinite cosmos in again through the base of the spine, out each chakra front and back. Doesn't matter which order. I generally start at the heart, then work my way down. In the chakra, then out the crown. So it's like a circuit. In the crown, out the chakra, in the chakra, out the base, in the base, out the chakra, in the chakra, out the crown. So I do this circuit all through. I'm breathing the infinite cosmos, and I'm breathing that in just like that, because your system understands what that is. Your system is utterly intelligent. I'm clearing, cleansing, activating. Just that intention to clear, cleanse, activate your chakras is really profound. You don't need to know how to do it. Your system understands what you mean. You don't even need to be thinking of that. After a while, you really feel it strongly, okay? And because I do that kind of every day, therefore, as soon as I go into that mode, I feel it. So that's a really good way of just clearing a field quickly. Hey, Eliza, how are you? Remember people who do a lot of water fasting, increasing? Yeah, I believe it. I think it's like when you're fasting, you get a bit high vibe. So it's like hyperventilating a bit, but with water. So like try hyperventilating. I was once in the astral, and this alien guy, this tall kind of bluish alien guy. I have a lot of Arcturian connections. Anyway, she showed me these aliens, or very strange looking beings, and they're all breathing really quickly. And I said, what are they doing? And this was in the astral. I was very conscious of where I was. It was very ultra vivid, and I was on some other planet. And they were all really, really weird looking aliens, Not scary at all. But my guide said they're breathing at 68 breaths per minute, which is fast. Pretty much hyperventilating, with the intention of connecting to beings from higher frequencies. And that's interesting to try that. So that was years ago. That got me I got into Wim Hof many years ago from the experiences that were taught to me in the astral. So the hyperventilation is interesting. I wouldn't necessarily do it before I go to sleep, though. I found do it earlier in the day, like do Wim Hof in the morning. I don't do it at night because you don't want to excite the body. You want to sort of calm it, and I find that gets the body very, very excited. A bit of a tangent, but yeah. So water fasting, yeah, I think you do, because what's happening with the water fasting is that I talked about the layers of clarity. your physical body has its own needs. It's, as I've said, when I've gone veggie for a while, it feels stiller. My whole mind feels stiller, and so simply because the body is not working away, having to digest, heavy stuff. So it's kind of like, that if you see the body is kind of like a your pooch. Like I've got a little dog, and the dog's just sort of sniffing stuff and eating stuff. They're just doing it. Your body's just doing what it needs to do. It's just kind of basically you're not thinking about, oh, I've got to digest. I'm digesting. So it's happening subconsciously, but it is using energy, and it is taking away from absolute clarity. And as I said earlier, not that you have to do that. Like I've met a few monks, and they, in terms of not wanting to take karmic load, they don't prepare the food, but they eat what they're given. So these are Buddhist monks. Um, they will eat meat, but they don't have anything to do with the making of it, because they believe that they're taking on the karmic load from that meat suffering, but also they honor. Um, from what I've read and from what I've seen in the astral, earlier species of humans, earlier humans, they really honored the kills. They honored the beings, and I think that's an interesting point, because you're and you can do that, and I think you're therefore reducing that energetic kind of load that maybe you don't need in the body. So it's pretty cool though. But I think a water fast will do that. Oh, hi Leonie, how are you? Good to see you here tonight. Thanks for popping in. Leonie is a fascinating woman. She teaches and runs this group where kids and adults, actually, I think, um, learn how to teach kids to actually see with their eyes closed. So there's actually a movement going on where it's fascinating, what she does. I'm feeling so much better with this energy movement. Thanks for passing this on. Oh, good. Yeah. So yeah, that the chakra cleanse is something. So that's something I'll do anyway. And I find more and more that the meditations I do, I find out I just do them, then the astral things happen. So it's not. I think I talked last week or at some stage about not obsessing with the result, but really enjoying the process. So I like the meditations. The other thing I do too is I in terms of actual meditation, and this is something I got into a long time ago, um, is I've got that background deliberately with being up high. This notion of feeling up high, like even if you just close your eyes now, okay, just close your eyes where you are now, and know that in reality we are non-local beings, okay, and more of this stuff is coming up in the mainstream, that our minds are able to connect with the greater universe. Okay, if we think that we are made of all these minerals, and we are actually literally star matter. So we have what I'm saying by being star matter is we have resonant um, frequencies within us, as in we are made of these minerals that are resonating with like minerals. Okay, that's the basis of quantum physics, quantum mechanics, is that when something changes somewhere, it changes somewhere else, or when there is consciousness somewhere, then the same element. So we have bodies made of the elements, So if we think of right now where you are, thinking that we're in a non-local universe in reality, if you just imagine yourself in a scene where you are very high up, imagine you're right near the top of right near the apex of a mountain peak, just like that. Imagine this incredibly clear, beautiful night sky. Maybe there's a beautiful sunset in the distance. Doesn't matter. Know that you're safe. It's good to think of dark night skies with incredible amounts of stars, because often in the astral we do find ourselves in dark places. We're programmed that is negative. It's not at all. So imagine yourself, you're not cold because you're in the astral. So you're at the aspect of you that is able to be multidimensional, because we are multidimensional beings. Imagine yourself on this beautiful natural kind of platform, rock, just below the cusp of a mountain. There can be the first light hitting that mountain or the last light. Many mountain peaks out in front of you, and you're on a very high one. It's beautiful snow with this beautiful red light on it. You can actually see everything around. You can see the mountains. In the astral, you can see at night, even if there's stars above you. You can see everything. And you have this tremendous sense, being very, very high with this massive canopy of stars above you. You have this phenomenal sense of kind of a clarity in your mind. You feel very, very clear, very connected to the cosmos. Once again, if we are star matter in a non-local cosmos, then above you, all of those stars are resonating with you, with your star being. Astral comes from the Latin word astrum. It is a star body. So literally your body is vibrating in sympathetic resonance with all of the stars above, the millions and billions of stars above. So there's this phenomenal connection, this drawing of energy from above. Already when you think that, you feel bigger, you feel your body is bigger. You have really our bodies are not just this physical thing, okay? The astral sits outside and we have greater bodies. So you can imagine when you're seeing this feeling of expansion, and you're above the mountains and you're like in the sky and you're above the earth, just like that. And you have this tremendous feeling of literally communion with the stars. And you also feel this tremendous sense of contentment, peace, stillness within you. When you're in this state, you can really connect. You think to yourself, okay, I am in connection. So what I'm saying is, while you feel that sense of connection, it's what I said at the very beginning of this podcast, is the imagination is an incredible thing. Still feel that sense of connection, but know that, like in the astral, imagination can get you there. It can get you to the astral. The imagination in the astral is immediate. If you imagine something, as I've often said jokingly but seriously, once in the astral, I imagined a chocolate ice cream. I said, I want a chocolate ice cream. I had this beautiful chocolate ice cream in my hand. Tasted magnificent. I didn't know the recipe. I didn't need to know the recipe. So imagination is a very, very, very powerful thing. And a lot of the astral meditations I do are kind of reverse engineering, because often in the astral, people do find themselves in physical mountains on top. And you have, in the astral eye, you can see the horizon is far, far further. So keeping your eyes closed, imagine you can see mountain peaks below you, extending far, far, far away, and still with absolute clarity. Okay, it doesn't fade over the horizon or get. It doesn't matter your eyesight. It doesn't get your eyesight doesn't get all foggy. You can see very, very clearly and effortlessly. So the astral eye can see 360. Imagine you can see around you. So what we're doing is here we're imagining this connection with our higher self, astral self, and um, we're kind of tapping into these innate senses that we already have. So and that is a resonant thing in itself. If you're basically faking it till you make it, that's what imagination does. If you imagine you've got this 360 view all around you, you can look down a crevice to your right or left, and you can see a snowdrift on another mountain. Your astral eyes can focus in like a telescope or binoculars, and you're right there, just in front of a snowdrift, even though you're sitting on top of this mountain. So we also have the ability to zoom in and out. We have the ability in the astral to touch, so you can feel the rock beneath you without having to touch it. You can sense the temperature of the rock without having to actually touch it. It's a unified sense. So here we're using the imagination to tune into that non-local sense. And this is a very clearing exercise in itself. Sensing that feeling of connection and that feeling that you're very, very high above, just moving into that energetically or in your imagination helps you maintain a higher frequency for listening. So we're looking to listen to these higher frequencies, these beings of higher frequency, these higher dimensions, these dimensions that oscillate at a higher frequency. The astral frequencies that we're wishing to experience are the ones that oscillate at a higher frequency, not a lower frequency. And higher beings, they're oscillating at a higher frequency. So essentially, this feeling of listening would be the greatest astral sense. So in the astral, we don't have separate senses. They're a unified sense. So you can feel the snow around you. You can sense the light around you. You can sense the rock or whatever surface is beneath you without having to touch it. You can sense it. You can sense the smell without having to smell. It's all one thing. And if you get used to this notion of listening in these kind of meditations, imagine your ears, any obstacles becoming very unblocked, and you can really hear the frequencies above your crown. And on that subject, at night, when you're lying in bed tonight, try tonight. If you listen above your crown chakra, you will hear certain harmonics. You will hear certain notes, certain tones. It's really easy to do, and everyone can do it. You lie there when it's quiet, listen above your crown chakra, and you'll start. So put this awareness above you, and that's deliberately why I'm sitting in this mountain background. Is to get clear, to put yourself up, to put yourself higher. It is an archetypal realm we're in, so that can help you get clearer. If you now think, imagine at night you're lying there, putting your awareness above your crown, eventually you can hear these little frequencies. So you focus on the highest note. When you really focus on the highest note, that often can widen out as you fall asleep, and it can become, you can find yourself moving into an astral state. So now feel free to open your eyes directly while maintaining that feeling of height. So as I've said there, the imagination is so powerful. Even if you look at the background behind me, um, you can't not think of being up, of being higher. That's actually going to change your frequencies. Of course, I'm not in that scene, but I can't not think of that. So you're resonating on that higher frequency. And if you've ever found yourself on high mountains, there is a real clarity that goes on. Okay, there is a real clarity. So we're just using our imagination to get us there. So that feeling of height in my aura, or the feeling of reaching above, is something I use for Reiki, for channeling things, and also for the astral experience. So I'll often lie there and just reach above me. And my guides first taught me that notion of reaching above and listening. So that is a really good way of getting clear. So yeah, it's a different way of thinking. And of course, I do the physical relax, mental relax is essential, I find, for the astral experience, and also releasing, in terms of clarity, how to get clear, releasing thoughts that occupy you. So what I've realized is that thoughts, how's this for something? None of your thoughts are your own. None of them are your own. Well, they're not you, put it that way. Your thoughts are not you. We take on thoughts, they occupy us, and then they leave us. So if someone has an obsession with certain thoughts, okay, so we talk an addiction. That is like a country that has a massive influx of occupying forces. Okay. So if you think of yourself as a country, imagine these forces occupying you without any of your will. So we are like an area maintaining certain frequencies, and the area will pick up certain things. We call them thought forms. Everything has been thought, everything in the Akashic, and you see this in the Astral, everything is there because there is no time. So the thoughts you think are you, they're actually the cosmos interacting with your field, with your aerial. And you have a certain purchase or resonance, and it sticks with you, and you have the thought. If you oscillate at a different frequency, it'll go straight through you. So ideally, you kind of want to become thought free. Doesn't mean you'll lose your responsibilities, but what I found is my thoughts are not me. So I'm often, and because there's no gravity in reality, I will sit, positive or negative, even now, close your eyes, any thought, positive or negative, pop into a bubble, acknowledge it, just look at the thought. Okay, for instance, right now I'm seeing the dinner I just had. I'm seeing it, okay, so I'll acknowledge it in front of me on the plate. I put it in the bubble, and I drift it out of my field. If it's still there, it has less intensity, so I'll put it back in the bubble, release it really quickly. I'm just releasing it out of my field with these bubbles quite fast, and eventually the food's just not there. My little brother's on my mind for some reason. Doesn't matter why. Not negative, not positive. It just is. In the bubble, out. Still there, black and white, gone. So it's losing its grip on me. It's really good each day, if you can, twice a day, to release any of these encumbrances. And that's a great way of clearing the field. It doesn't mean you become a zombie. It doesn't mean you forget who you are. What I do is I relax my body, relax my mind quite quickly. I release all the thoughts that are occupying me, so I start to feel really kind of nothing, which feels really nice, right? Then I release the past because the past doesn't exist. It's got a lot of gravity. Release that. It existed as the present to get you here, but it doesn't exist now. You can let it go. I release the expectation of the future as well. And then I feel really centered. I feel like I'm kind of attached to this second hand of this great cosmic clock, and I'm just in that space. The reason it's so effective, as I said, it's kind of reverse engineering from the astral. In the astral, you are entirely present because there is no time. So you this bliss of being present is what all of the meditation and spiritual movements aim to get you. The whole mindfulness movement. In the astral, you are it. You are that. Okay. And as I said before, imagination is an amazing thing. If you start to resonate at that frequency of being totally there, the astral, which is in these higher frequencies, which is beyond time, beyond the linear time, it will naturally resonate with you and grab you. Do you know what I mean? Because it understands that frequency. It understands what you're doing. So, like a friend, it's like a sympathetic vibration. It sees you, and you can read it, and you can go with it, and you can have that experience. So yeah, all these meditation techniques are purely for the reason of getting that as clear as I can. So as I said, as I started at the beginning, when I'm shaking hands with a lot of people, if I'm meeting a lot of people that day, I will that night I will center into myself and I will command from the God being within me, release all that is not me or all that is not in the interest of my highest good. Because there could be stuff that's not you that is in your side of your higher good. And I'll command that from the God being within me to these energies that are not me or not in the interest of my higher good to be lifted, healed, and made one in the light of love. And so I've got these protocols just to release. And often in the beginning, I'd feel these things swiggle out of me. And now these energies know, okay, I'm not going to sit with him because he's not going to entertain me. I'm not going to, support these energies in my field that are distracting me. So there's so many different. I've touched upon a few there, but anyway, g'day, Adam. How are you? Thoughts are adopted. That's a good way of putting it. That's a very good way of putting it. Got to call you, Adam. We've got to get some stuff happening together soon. Call me too, but we'll do some stuff because I think this will be good. I've got to make sure my computer also doesn't fall asleep. I don't have the power thing, but so listen. I'm going to basically leave this one here. Any questions for now? I've chatted enough on this. Oh, another thing I want to mention is also on my website. I'll just put this here. It's Greg Doyle Astral. Yeah, I've started doing these webinar things where people can, because I do these courses often, people can book in for there might be just one of you or many of you for just an hour, and you can see me and actually talk to me like on a camera, like a webinar, Zoom webinar. So I'm doing them twice on Wednesdays, one in the evening, one in the morning, because the morning might suit people overseas. Also evening. It's on my website anyway. I've just put them up. So you can just book it like a consult. It's just $50. And that way you might have a private consult for $50 where you can actually interact with me. So these, because I found with my online workshops, they're kind of good because they can see people and they can talk. It's different to this kind of thing. I like this, but it's more personal and I can personalize things with you. So I've started them up on my website, so check it out. And look, any more questions there, do let me know. As I said, I'm going to sign out now because I had to do something. It's a bit shorter than normal broadcasts, but I will be signing off. Do let me know if you've got any cues just for the next couple of minutes. Otherwise, we'll be leaving while we're there. I'm still getting used to this whole thing, aren't I? Oh, yeah, and I've got my online course here at Podia. That's always good, and that's on a good platform. That's the breakthrough course. So you can, that's a nice one. You can go to take a screenshot of if you need to. And also got my free challenge on my website, which you can see, which is like a 7-day thing. It's sent to you, a video to send to you every 7 days. But it's great to share this stuff with you guys, as always. And fire any questions during the week or in this video. There are links to courses and stuff in the video on YouTube, I think. And yeah, the Wednesday idea is good. It just struck me actually that because I had a really nice workshop on the weekend. It was just online with people in Australia and overseas. The Zoom thing is really good because you can, and there's a recording sent to people after it, and it's kind of affordable if people just want to get, and so as I said, there'll probably just be a few people, not many, but you get to share things as well, and we can see each other and hear and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know why I haven't thought of this sooner, that the Zoom webinar workshop is a regular thing. So you'll see it on my website. It's just like a service. Like I've just got it weekly, 7 in the evening or 9 in the morning, and people can just book in when they want on Wednesdays. So it's kind of cool. And Adam, if you're still there, I will contact you because we'll be doing something together. And Leonie, I will get back to you with that thing. I did read it. Anyway, guys, great to see you. I'm heading off now. I will still keep doing these maybe on a Tuesday night or a Thursday night. I'm not sure which is better. I know tonight's Thursday, but either a Tuesday or Thursday because of the webinars. So I'll keep these happening and I'll do with different themes. The one on Wednesdays will just be general. People can ask me their own astral questions, so it'll be tailored depending on who's there. But I do like that background. And in the astral, you often do go to mountains. It's a beautiful thing. Guys, always good to share. And it's always nice to see you. And yeah. Okay, so I'll see you when I see you next. And I hope to see you on one of these webinars soon. Have a look on my website. Check it out. And yeah, I'll see you. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next YouTube. Okay, thanks for tuning into it. I really do appreciate it. Appreciate the feedback as well. Okay, see you guys. Bye.